Have you ever looked at an ant? Not just glanced at it, but actually watched what it does. It never stops. It never complains. It's always working, always preparing. No one tells it what to do, yet somehow it just knows. Now let me ask you something. How many people do you know that actually live like that? How many people do you know who wake up every morning with a sense of purpose, ready to tackle the day, ready to prepare for the future, ready to secure what's ahead? Because let's be real, most people don't. Most people wake up exhausted, snooze their alarm a few times, and drag themselves out of bed just to go to a job they don't even like. They spend their entire day working just to survive, not to get ahead. And when payday comes, the money is gone before they can even think about saving. Rent, groceries, bills, debt, subscriptions, little luxuries here and there, it all adds up so fast. And before they know it, they're right back to waiting for the next paycheck, repeating the cycle over and over again. Sound familiar? It's not just one person's struggle. This is how most people live. Stuck in a loop where every month feels the same. No progress, no security, no financial freedom, just survival. And the worst part, they know they should be doing something different. They know they should be saving. They know they should be investing. They know they should be thinking ahead. But instead of making changes, they put it off. I'll start next month. I'll save when I earn more. I'll worry about retirement later. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because life doesn't wait for you to be ready. And so, boom, life happens. A medical emergency, a layoff, the car won't start, rent skyrockets. Suddenly, they're drowning. Bills keep piling up, stress levels shoot through the roof, and panic sets in. What do I do now? And because they weren't prepared, they're forced into survival mode. They swipe the credit card, they borrow money, they take out loans, they work overtime, they do whatever it takes, just to stay afloat. And guess what? The cycle repeats, year after year, always struggling, always behind, always stressed, never free. Sound familiar? This is how millions of people live, stuck in a loop where nothing ever really changes. But here's the part no one likes to talk about. It's not just bad luck, it's not just the economy, it's not just life being unfair, it's a lack of preparation. The kind of preparation that no one teaches in school, no one preaches about in society, and most people ignore until it's too late. But the Bible has already given us the blueprint to escape this trap. Not from a millionaire, not from a CEO, not from a best-selling author, but from one of the smallest, most overlooked creatures in nature, an ant. Yes, an ant. The answer to breaking free from this financial trap, the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, of always being one step behind, of never having enough, is hidden in ants. One of the smallest, most overlooked creatures on the planet. Guys, if you can understand this one simple principle, it will completely change the way you see money, work, and your future. This is one of the most important financial lessons you'll ever hear. So if you're interested in this, then you are in the right place. Welcome to Flourish in Wealth, where financial freedom begins. Proverbs chapter 6 verses 6 through 8 says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." Now, when you first read this, it might seem like simple advice. You might even dismiss it as just another proverb that sounds nice, but doesn't really apply to our everyday lives. But what if I told you this small verse contains one of the most profound financial principles in existence? Yes, that's right. This tiny ant, with no higher authority, no boss, and no structure, is teaching us some of the most valuable financial wisdom we'll ever hear. This verse explains exactly why so many people struggle financially and how to fix it. Let's dissect it piece by piece. The verse starts by saying, "Go to the ant, you sluggard." Now the word sluggard basically means lazy, careless, unprepared. And if we're being completely honest, that describes the way a lot of people handle money today. Think about it. Most people don't plan ahead. They spend what they make. They live in the moment. They rely on luck, hoping things will just work out. And when a financial crisis hits, they panic. But the Bible is saying, look at the ant, study its ways, learn from it. Now let's zoom in even more. The verse continues. "It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." In other words, the ant doesn't need someone to force it to work. It doesn't wait for motivation. It doesn't wait for someone to tell it to start saving. It just does it. What's interesting here is that the Bible is emphasizing that the ant doesn't have anyone telling it what to do. There's no manager overseeing its every move. It's not getting paid an hourly wage. It's not even thinking about getting a bonus. Yet despite all of this, the ant still knows exactly what it needs to do in order to survive, thrive, and be prepared for whatever comes next. The ant doesn't have a manager, no boss, no supervisor, no one checking in. and yet it still works. Most people, they only take action when life forces them to. They wait until the bills are stacking up, until they're drowning in debt, until they lose a job. Then they start thinking about saving, investing, or making better financial choices. But by then, it's too late. This is one of the most important financial lessons that most people overlook. You don't need someone breathing down your neck to be successful. In fact, the most successful people, whether in business or personal finance, are those who can self-motivate and make wise decisions without needing constant supervision. It's too easy to go with the flow, to spend the moment you get paid, to rely on a paycheck for everything, and to let future problems come at you without ever planning ahead. The ant doesn't wait for someone to tell it what to do. It just does what needs to be done. It doesn't overthink. It doesn't procrastinate. When it's summer, the ant gathers. When it's harvest time, it stores its food. This is the key principle. The ant knows that future scarcity is inevitable, so it prepares now. The ant is teaching us that it's not about the here and now. It's about preparing for tomorrow, even when you don't know exactly what that tomorrow will look like. The ant knows winter is coming. It knows there will be a time when food is scarce. So, while the weather is good, it works, it saves, it prepares. Now let's compare that to how most people handle their finances. Instead of saving during the summer when times are good, they spend everything. Instead of preparing for winter, financial struggles, unexpected bills, job loss, emergencies, they act like it will never come. And when winter does come, they're caught off guard, they scramble, they borrow money, they swipe credit cards, they go into panic mode. Meanwhile, the ant, it's completely fine. Why? Because it prepared, it saw what was coming, it worked when it had the opportunity. It secured its future before the crisis ever arrived. And guys, this is exactly how wealth is built. People who are financially secure aren't just lucky. They don't just get rich overnight. They prepare in advance, they don't spend every dollar they make. They save, they invest. They plan for the future. And when life throws unexpected challenges their way, they don't panic. They're ready. This one small verse from Proverbs is one of the most powerful financial principles you will ever hear. It teaches discipline, it teaches preparation, it teaches responsibility. And here's the thing, if you ignore this lesson, you will always struggle. Because life is unpredictable. Hard times will come, bills will pile up, emergencies will happen. The question is, will you be ready for them? And if you're not, what are you doing about it now? Because guys, winter is always coming. The only question is, will you be like the ant? Or will you be caught unprepared? Quick side note, guys, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below and type, "I'm learning from the ant." And if you're finding value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps the algorithm and it really supports the channel so I can keep bringing you more content like this. Let's get back to it. Moving on. You've got to admire the ant's relentless work ethic. The Bible doesn't say the ant works only when it feels like it. It doesn't say the ant works when it's easy. The ant works no matter what, whether the sun is shining or the rain is falling. This is what separates the financially wise from those who are always struggling. It's not about how much you make, it's about how consistently you work and how wisely you save and spend your resources. Take a moment to think about your own habits. Do you only work hard when it's convenient, when everything is going great? Or do you show up every day, even when it's difficult? This idea of diligence, working without being told to work, without someone pushing you, is critical for financial success. But too many people wait for the perfect moment, the right time, or even for someone to tell them what to do. This is why so many struggle financially. They are not working diligently when things are good, so when tough times come, they have nothing to fall back on. The ant shows us that success doesn't come from working hard only during the good times or when it feels easy. It's about consistently putting in the effort every single day. Let me ask you, are you building your financial future consistently, or are you hoping it'll work out later? The Bible's wisdom reminds us that success requires consistency, even when it's tough. Another lesson to learn from the ant is focus and discipline. If you've ever observed ants, you know they're remarkably focused on their task. Whether they're carrying food back to the colony or gathering supplies, they don't get distracted. They know exactly what they need to do, and they do it without deviating from their path. And that's something we can definitely learn from the ant. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, notifications, emails, and even the constant pull of buy now ads make it hard to stay on track. It's easy to get caught up in the next shiny object or the latest trend. But the ant? It doesn't fall for distractions. It focuses on what's important, gathering food, preparing for winter, ensuring the survival of the colony. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 4 says, "Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth." If you keep letting distractions control you, you're choosing to stay broke. Nobody's going to come and rescue you. The only way to build financial security is to focus, stay consistent, and put in the work. The ant doesn't take a break. It doesn't say, "I'll work tomorrow or I'll get to it later." It doesn't procrastinate. It takes action now. This level of discipline is incredibly important when it comes to managing our finances. Discipline is what helps us stick to a budget, save money, and stay on track with our long-term financial goals, even when it's tempting to spend or splurge. All right, guys, here's another thing. Have you ever noticed that an ant doesn't try to do everything at once? It picks up one tiny crumb, takes it back, and repeats the process. The ant's success comes from doing small, consistent actions every single day. The ant knows the power of small actions. Now, when it comes to managing our money, we often want quick results, right? But the truth is, building wealth isn't about huge overnight changes. It's about making small, smart decisions daily. Whether it's saving a little here and there or cutting back on some small expenses, those little moves can really add up over time. Most people think you need to be rich to start saving or investing. Wrong. Proverbs chapter 13 verse 11 says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." That's how real financial success happens, step by step, just like the ant. Another important point to remember is that ants don't do it alone. They move together, they build together, they support each other. But when it comes to money, who are you surrounding yourself with? If you're always around people who waste money, make bad decisions, and don't think about the future, you'll end up just like them. Proverbs chapter 13 verse 20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." If you're serious about building wealth, get around people who have good financial habits. Learn from them, work with them, because just like ants, we're stronger when we're surrounded by the right people. So guys, the next time you see an ant, don't just ignore it. Think about the lesson it's teaching you. Are you taking control of your finances, or are you waiting for life to force you? Are you preparing for the future, or are you spending everything now and hoping for the best? Are you staying focused, or are distractions keeping you broke? Because the Bible makes it clear. If you ignore these lessons, you're acting like a sluggard. And let's be real, nobody wants to be called that. If this video gave you something to think about, hit that like button and make sure to check out my other video here for more money tips and ways to take control of your finances. You won't want to miss it.